Greetings, gentle viewers. Welcome to the ultimate approach to the history of psychology, Draft 1. Now, actually, due to an error, my script does not have an intro for you, so at the moment, we'll just jump right into it. If you want to learn about history of psychology, this is where you come. Now, it all began in the early 1790s, where a gentleman named Philippe Pinel came to the conclusion that mental patients were not in fact demons, and that people should probably not kill them. Later in the 1840s, a construction worker by the name of Phineas Gage was injured by an explosion and lost a portion of his brain. And then 13 years after that, because the brain moves slow, it was discovered that it may lead to problems with brain function. Like, people might need brains, but you never know. Afterwards, Francis Galton publishes a study under the premise that if your parents are dumb, you're probably dumb. He later called this nature versus nurture. Now, in fact, we do see this. When bears eat people, people die. In the later part of the 1800s, Wilhelm Wundt starts the first psychological laboratory. 4 years later, America finally gets on board. Because we just don't care enough, we decide to do it in our own time. And then Hermann Ebbinghaus discovers what he called the forgetting curve. And then, I don't remember what he did after that. It's kind of odd. But in 1890, things get interesting, because much to the dismay of a century of college students, William James writes the first book on psychology. Soon after, Mary Whiten Calkins establishes a psychology lab and becomes the first female president of the APA, a group which he founded, but instead got kicked out from. The APA, or American Psychological Association, started with a budget of $63, or, for you laymen out there, roughly the price of 250 McDonald's chicken nuggets. Now, if I had that money nowadays, you don't know what I'd do, but it would probably start with chicken and end with nuggets. But after being denied the right by several universities, Margaret F. Washburn becomes the first woman to receive a PhD in psychology at Cornell University. And in comes Sigmund Freud at the turn of the century, publishing his interpretation of dreams, which was oddly sexual, might I say, but it was what the people wanted. Now, if you want a good romance novel, there's nowhere to turn but psychology. Okay, so you couldn't see that flashback, but it happened. In 1903, one of the greatest psychological discoveries was made, and it was on dogs. But then the rest of the century came along and nothing happened. Very interesting. John B. Watson comes to the conclusion that if you'd like to prove something, you should probably see it happen first. In 1936, Egas Moniz comes up with the idea that the best way to treat mental disorders is to sever part of the brain. And I was totally safe. Trust me. After World War II, clinical psychology became popular because apparently, in war, things happen to your mind. In the 1960s, Stanley Milgram discovered that people are horrible and will kill people they're told to. In relation to that, research of the bystander effect says if you die, no one cares. In the 70s, Richard Dawkins publishes a study on evolution, angering Christians everywhere. Before Dawkins, however, there was a discovery that, contrary to popular belief, we all have drugs. We all use drugs, and they're actually in our brains. The discovery that there are opiates in the brain, laying the groundwork for the discovery of naturally produced pain blockers. And Albert Bandura comes along and says that people learn things from other people. I never would have guessed. I didn't have a mother, don't let them And then, like Ivan Pavlov didn't do enough, ethologists Konrad Lorenz, Karl von Frisch, and Nico Tinbergen won a Nobel Prize on working with more animals. As for the rest of the century, there are some interesting names. Now, let me just list them for you because you want to hear this. There's going to be a test on this later. There's going to be Herbert Simon, Roger Sperry, Daniel Kahneman, Amos Tversky, Howard Gardner, and the Food and Drug Administration. They just turned 18 that day. Can I just add that in? Martin Seligman. But if you want to be an optimist with all of this, you could join the positive psychology movement. And if you like this and learned a little something, stick around. There's going to be more.